So after hearing so many different people rant and rave about Piranesi, I read it. Now, typically that's a mistake for me because I already hate something if everybody loves it. I don't know. I don't know. It's not always true, but a lot of times it's true. I guess I'm what's it called? I guess I'm a hipster or something. Ah! But okay, so here's the thing. It was not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I was expecting there to be fawns and woods, like so something to do with fawns in the woods and magic and that kind of stuff. It was nothing like that. So, what is Piranesi about? Piranesi is about a guy that lives in a house with, as far as I know, infinitely expanding halls. So there's like room after room, okay? And there's also an ocean in the house. So there's obviously it's hard to summarize a book like this without giving away massive spoilers. So we'll just stop there. As for what does it have content wise? So this book really didn't have much. It didn't have violence really. There was a little bit, but I mean nothing real extreme. There wasn't really anything that kind of turned me off. Sexual content really was not there. It did have some statements that I guess you could say are more philosophical in nature, and so it might cause you to question some things with religion or that kind of stuff. But there was no, as far as I could tell, blatant attacks on religion or Christianity or anything like that. Then there was a little bit of language. It wasn't over the top, but it was there. So it was actual language, and some of the words were a little rough. But so you could say maybe a 2 out of 3. It wasn't over the top, but it was there. What were my thoughts on the book? Piranesi is one of those books that, whether you plan for a reread or it's your favorite book or whatever, it kind of grips you. And I found myself, although it was not what I was wanting, I found myself interested. And I kept reading until the ending actually had an emotional impact on me. When the ending hit, I was a little bit, what's it called, morose. I just kind of stared out the window. I think if I read to you my thoughts that I posted to Goodreads, although they might sound melodramatic, I think that they actually perfectly explain what I was feeling. In a way, I think maybe perhaps I am Piranesi, forever wandering a labyrinth through another's will, somehow at home, yet only a shadow of the one who was before. There is no Matthew Rose Sorensen, maybe there never was. And I think that perfectly summarizes my thoughts on it. Now, if you have not read this book, that probably means nothing to you. But let me just say this. It left me staring out the window. I'll just say that. And if you have not given this book a try, I would encourage you to. It's really not that long of a book. There are some parts that might seem a little bit dry, it might seem a little long, but you're going to plow through the book so fast it really doesn't matter, about those few parts. And this was my first, I guess you could say, adventure or step into Susanna Clarke. And I've always desired to read the Mr. Norrell, maybe Doctor Strange and Mr. Norrell or something like that. I've always desired to read that, which is her other real popular one that actually they made a show or a movie off of or whatever. And I just haven't gotten around to it. But this book was very interesting. It was new, it was creative, and it did leave me guessing. The ending was a little bit different than I was expecting, and I guess even in the ending, it left me guessing. So, if you've already read Piranesi, post below what did you think of it.